Hey guys, this is AnimePaulZ here, and today we are going to be doing the second part to what if Goku had SCP-682's adaptability. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jizz. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
After this, they arrive at the Namekian village that Vegeta originally slaughtered in the canon and the Dragon Ball is almost handed to them. Without anybody to do his dirty work, Frieza is quite annoyed. He was hoping that a transformed Zarbon would make quick work of those Saiyans, but it seems that he hasn't. That's what makes things a little more confusing to Frieza. Just who are those Saiyans that have humbled his top men? Soon after though, the Ginyu force arrive, but someone else does too, Vegeta. He saw many Frieza soldiers on the planet and wonders if the rumours are true. He thought those Namekian Dragon Balls were just a myth, but once he sees how many Frieza soldiers are posted on the planet, he must head there to check things out. He received an even bigger beatdown in this timeline, and so his power level is now at 26,000. Arriving on the planet, he is spooked to sense the first power levels there with his scouter. The Ginyu Force. Power levels more than 40,000 in a group of 5. What are they doing here? He was expecting to see people like Zarbon or the Doria. Those are the people that Frieza usually resorts to for missions like these, but how come they've been summoned here? Rushing into battle against people like them would be stupid. He knows how strong he is in comparison to those people and there's no match. But therefore he stays back but remains watchful to see what's happening here. He came here in search of the Dragon Balls, but without any radar and in the face of these fighters, it'd be best not to act rash. The Ginyu Force stand ahead of Goku and Gohan as they guard their Dragon Balls. Hello Saiyans, we've heard some great things about you, like how you took down the Doria. What a surprise. I wouldn't expect Saiyans like you to be out there even stronger than Vegeta. You're not getting any of our Dragon Balls, Goku replies, not paying any attention to what he's just said. I'm sorry, but that is not a request. We need them, Jay says, stepping forward. As he steps forward, Goku and Gohan make their stances. Looks like you want to do this the hard way. Alright then, Goldo, Jay shouts. Goldo steps forward, stopping time and freezing the fires. Sharpening a tree stump and launching it at Goku, it just breaks apart upon hitting his body. As Goldo is startled by this, he then stops freezing time. Goku, now that he has the chance to attack, speed blitzes him and punches him in the head so hard that he knocks him right out. He didn't place enough force to kill him per se, but he won't be a part of the fight any longer. Those around then pounce, with Berta taking on Goku. Jace rushes past those two and aims for Gohan. Berta rushes in, trying to win this fight with his immense speed, but Goku evades every single one of his attacks easily. He finishes off with a right hand straight at his face, but he grabs the fist and just throws it to the side and ends up throwing his whole body down in the process. Oh, sorry about that, Goku says, being truly genuine. Berta, taking this attack, bounces right back up and dashes forward, unwilling to take his apology or this humiliation. However, Goku slips under two of his straight punches and elbows him in the chest, breaking his armor while sending him flying. Gohan steps back from a punch aimed at his face and just plays around with Jace. The gap in power is just too great. Jumping over him, he shoots down a kick onto his upper back and throws him to the ground with just that single hit. This leaves only Raccoon for them to deal with. He isn't the most confident after seeing his comrades getting swatted away with single attacks, but is also angry to see that they've been dismantled so easily. He leaps toward the two fighters and aims to slam down Goku, but he raises his open hand while enlarging it. This latches straight onto Raccoon and there's nothing that he can do to free himself. He ends up getting thrown to the ground and battered by Goku's gargantuan fists. This leaves only Ginyu, that has flown off to receive direct orders from Frieza. Unlike before, he doesn't have as many Dragon Balls since Goku's team is doing quite well. They can travel with more confidence since he is already so powerful. Ginyu soon comes flying toward the group after he's received direct orders from the Emperor. As he arrives, he gets to work. He doesn't say much and is quite angry after seeing all of his partners badly hurt by these two. Revealing his dark purple ki, he rushes in and the fight is on. The first to face him is Gohan, with Goku stepping back. Cannon punch, Gohan shouts, mirroring the attack of his father. He throws in his larger fist with a lengthening arm, adding to the overall power of his strike by a great amount. Even if Ginyu's power level exceeds Gohan's, this trick of his makes him much stronger. The punch cracks his armor, then Gohan follows with another of these punches aimed onto his nose. Ginyu stumbles back, shaking his head a little from the force. He was certain that he read a power level of 70,000 from the boy. That is startling for a Saiyan of course, but way below his level of strength. It just doesn't make much sense to him really. Snapping out of it, he runs straight back in and catches Gohan with an elbow to his jaw. He then drives up with an uppercut that lands flush on his chin. It's clear that Ginyu is the physically superior fighter as Gohan is struggling to perceive these fast attacks. He could have done something about it, but that's only if he could see them coming. He is kneed in his stomach, which drops him to a knee, but he stretches out his arm more than 10 meters away, then digs his fingers into the soil below. Pulling himself away, he gains some distance from Ginyu, who just flies straight after him. The gap between them closes as Ginyu simply moves faster than this young Saiyan, but he's playing right into his hands. His fist grows into a massive ball of metal and he slugs forward this larger hand to strike him right in the face. The metal exterior crushes his scouter while breaking his skull as well. Blood shoots out his mouth and nose and he falls back dazed. Feeling this sense of humiliation at being destroyed by the Saiyan child, Ginyu lets loose. He shouts at the top of his lungs, then launches this weird blast at him. Goku doesn't know what it is and assumes Gohan will do something about it. He tries to, attempting to catch it, but this instead causes them to switch bodies. Gohan is now in the injured body of Ginyu, barely able to see through the streams of blood flowing into his eyes. Ginyu has taken over the pristine Saiyan body of Gohan, pumping his chest with excitement. He begins to power up, but only manages to reach a power level of 18,000. He can't tell that he's so weak here, so continues with confidence. Goku can't immediately tell what's going on, but when he hears the voice coming from Gohan's body, he knows. Ginyu has managed to body swap somehow, quite an intriguing technique. Even if Ginyu can't use Gohan's body fully, Gohan can't do that in Ginyu's body either. This gives Ginyu the upper hand, but Goku stops him from landing a second punch. His stretching hand lands on Gohan's shoulder and he then pulls him down. Goku can't just defeat him or kill him since he's in Gohan's body. Along with that, Ginyu's body isn't doing too well and he may not last very long. He just grits his teeth once he realises the predicament that he's in here. After a few seconds of just standing there, musing over the situation, he comes up with a plan. Letting go of Gohan's body, he raises and just looks at Goku with an angered expression. Shouting, he flies straight toward him and cocks back his fist to attack, but Goku stops him with a punch to his gut. The punch releases a shockwave from the intense impact and makes Ginyu fall back and hold Gohan's body in agony. Wheezing from the pain, he simply flops to his knees upon taking a second of these strikes. As he feels these attacks, Ginyu is aware that Goku is way stronger than him. There won't be much that he could do. Therefore, he looks to try and perform the technique. Gohan, get here now, Goku roars, flying back as fast as he can. Ginyu looks around hastily and sees Gohan leaping into the beam with his body. The swap is performed and Ginyu is sent rolling away in his own body that was launched. Gohan looks down, taps his own body and is elated to finally have it to himself again. Now that his body is healed too, his power level reaches further, to 85,000. Goku then arrives by his side and Ginyu coughs out even more blood since his body is not in the best condition at all. Get out of here, Goku commands, and Ginyu can't help but follow. Flying off in defeat, he simply enters his pod and leaves the planet, going rogue. He'll be back at some point, he's sure of it. After this, they believe the fight is almost over, but somebody makes themselves known, Frieza. He lands ahead of Goku, and this means they have to change up their whole strategy. If both of them get bogged down fighting Frieza, they may not get the chance to summon Porunga and revive their friends. Therefore, they have to split up. I'll take him. Gohan, go and get the remaining Dragon Balls and perform the wish, Goku whispers to Gohan, who flies off at full pelt. So what do we have here? Another Saiyan. You remind me of someone, he must have been your father. The Saiyan that stood up to me all those years ago, Frieza states, chuckling to himself. Goku can feel his power and isn't that confident at all. This guy is really something else. He just prays that his body can give him something to work with, because right now he doesn't have much at all. I don't know who you're talking about, Goku says, making his stance. You really wish to stand up to me? Okay then, I'll give you what you want, Frieza says, powering up. The ground quakes from the power he releases and he just cackles upon showing off all this power. Vegeta, who hasn't even taken his eyes off the events that have transpired, can't believe what is happening. Even though he grew stronger, he didn't know that Frieza was so far above everyone else. He grunts from sheer rage, but has to keep quiet so that he isn't found by him. Frieza darts ahead and kicks him in the face, before whipping around his shin to slam it into his ear. Once he steps back, he is surprised to see Goku not really hurt by those punches. His body is so durable that punches from stronger people don't really hurt him. Frieza continues with his assault, gradually growing angry and more forceful with each attack, but he soon realizes that it will change nothing. He just takes every attack and continues standing there like a wall, unbreakable. Now breathing more intensely from his full power assault, he chooses to go down a different path. You'll be the first Saiyan to ever see this form of mine. Be grateful, Frieza says, taking a slightly wider stance. Once he crouches, his transformation is underway. The ground's rumbling resumes and his muscles bulge up. His body grows in size until the form is complete. Goku then follows suit, growing his body until they are literally the same height. This makes Frieza a little surprised, however he just smirks and charges forward to slam into Goku. Even though Goku is weaker, he can take this slam. The only thing he can't do is push Frieza back. The two clasp their hands, then slam their heads together, pushing at each other powerfully. With this larger frame, Goku's raw power has increased tremendously. He also hasn't reached the point where his speed starts to tail off quite badly. He has a power level closer to 250,000 now instead of 200,000, but it's still nowhere near enough. As they continue to push at each other, Goku can then feel his body going through some adaptation. He's getting physically stronger. Even though this is only one attribute of battle power, it does result in his power level increasing. It continues to rise, reaching even 400,000 in just this push. He continues to shout, pushing forward as hard as he can, then Frieza's smile slowly wipes off his face. He can feel Goku just getting stronger and stronger somehow. His power level crosses past 800,000, and that's when he manages to push Frieza's arm back. Just as he does this, the sky goes black. Porunga has been summoned. Frieza doesn't immediately know what's happening, but he can make things out after some time. That boy that just left out of nowhere, he's gone off to do something with the Dragon Balls. He's been played. Frieza starts looking around hastily and smashes his elbow into Goku's face to try and fly off. However, Goku latches onto him, using his pure strength that he's now acquired to keep him in place. Even though his overall battle power is near 800,000, his body has raw strength closer to someone with a power level of 2 million. Frieza is going absolutely nowhere. Across the planet, Gohan is with Bulma and Base, the Namekian that they met previously. He willingly translates for them and they first wish for Kami to be revived. As he comes back, the Dragon Balls return. Kami, now that he's alive, wants to join the fight, to fight for his people that have been slaughtered at the hands of that terrible emperor. Therefore, he is transported to Namek. For the final wish, they don't spend much time thinking about it and they wish for Kami's youth. If he wants to fight, he needs to be at his proper peak. On King Kai's planet, he's been trained by him and can now use Kaioken along with the Spirit Bomb. After this training, his power level reached 100,000, and once he wished for his youth, his power jumped up to 250,000. Kami arrives at the scene, then feels the key that Frieza has. He will be absolutely no match for him. He knew that Frieza was strong from what King Kai was saying to him, but he didn't know that he'd be this strong. What is calming is that he senses Goku's, and he can also feel that he's very strong. Frieza continues to wrestle with Goku and is furious when he sees the sky brighten up to daytime. Have the wishes already been taken from him? That's when he sees a Dragon Ball whiz over him, leaving a golden trail of energy. The wishes were taken from him. He lost. This is when he loses it. Before he was fighting to get those Dragon Balls, but now he doesn't even care. He's going to slaughter all these damn people that have stopped him from achieving his goal. Once he begins to transform, he reaches his final form, and his shape-shifting means that Goku loses grip of him. Frieza turns to kick him in the chest, but nothing happens. Goku's body takes it with ease, and Frieza then swings in another kick, this time aimed at his ear. However, both attacks do very little. He takes both hits to his body and feels almost nothing. The next comes, and Goku tries to dodge it, but it's far too slow. Frieza's power level is already at 30 million by this point, and he just keeps throwing and throwing out of fury. As these attacks keep coming in, Goku gets beat up at first. The attacks do nothing, but they all land with ease. That's when Goku slips one, then starts slipping more and more until they just no longer land on him. Frieza's been too invested in just letting out his anger with these repeated strikes to even notice that he's completely fine. He continues throwing and looks on with eyes of shock to see Goku slip the attacks that he couldn't perceive just minutes prior. He falls back, breathing more intensely, and can't really piece together what's just happened here. How has he grown so strong to the point where this can happen? Was he toying with him before? Maybe. Didn't seem to even move with any of the other hits anyway. Goku's power level has risen to 30 million in just these sequences of attacks. That's when Frieza chooses to go for someone else to take his anger on. Flying up top speed in the direction of where the Dragon Ball he recently saw came from, he arrives at the scene of where Kami and Gohan are. He shoots a death beam and it goes straight through base. Once he comes storming in, he knees Gohan in the face, shooting repeated death beams through his body too. He's the person that caught him in the situation that he's in now, so he's making sure to focus his anger on him. Goku arrives in a flash right after and can't believe what he's seeing. Rushing straight into the fight, he grabs Gohan and brings him to safety before he can continue. Don't toy with me, Saiyan. If you have any power you're hiding, it'd be best for you to show it now, Frieza commands. Kami rushes to base aid and sees that he doesn't have much longer. Kami isn't the type of Namekian where he can heal people, he's a fighter type, and so there's little that can be done here. There isn't anyone on the scene that could do that, and so Base decides to grab onto his hand. Fusion is the only way forward. Kami nods at him, thanking him for his help. They glow brightly and Goku turns around to view them more closely. The fusion begins and his power level shoots up to 2.5 million. Kami feels like a new person and Goku hasn't even taken the chance to get a good glimpse of him now that he's in this new youthful form. His muscles are larger and he looks full of vigour. Goku, stand back for now. Let me show you something I've been working on, Kami says, crouching down. Kaioken times 20, he shouts, with his voice now sounding louder and younger. His power level reaches 50 million and he races off toward Frieza. Taking him off guard with his initial elbow, he follows up with a crushing uppercut to his chin, then whip-like kicks to his torso and arms. These attacks really break up the Emperor, and Kami is fighting with a sense of ferocity he doesn't fight with usually. This is coming from the rage of base at seeing his people get slaughtered right in front of him. Kami thrusts forward his foot for a kick and drops Frieza to his knees. His finisher strike is another uppercut landing flush on the chin to launch Frieza into the air before he is left to fall down. Now covered in his own blood, the level of anger he feels is immense. Roaring at the top of his lungs, his body is beefed up and he's now in his 100% form. This state of his is quite intimidating for the crew, and Frieza races straight past Goku to grab Kami by the head, slamming him. Goku is left distraught. The blood of his Namekian mentor flushes over his body in gi and he just looks down with a faceless expression. This can't be happening. His hair begins to lift and a tear runs down his face. The man standing before him is evil and must be dealt with. His power can no longer be held back, and in a fit of rage his transformation is complete. The Super Saiyan is here. With a massive power level of 1.5 billion, it's not looking good for Frieza at all. Goku slugs his fist forward and hits like a truck with his first punch. Frieza's body can't take it at all and he is left for dead after this one hit. It lands cleanly on his jaw and he's left to slide away. Goku is still hyperventilating from what's happened and then rushes over to Kami after noticing him cough out blood. He's alive, thankfully. Exhaling with relief, he looks over at Gohan, who rushes over as if he wasn't just assailed by Frieza minutes prior. It's good to see that his healing powers are almost as good as his. Gohan's power level is now 250,000, so not much but still decent. Goku doesn't really know what to do since he can't really heal anyone. Looking around hastily, Kami passes out and Goku can feel his signature fading fast. Gohan begins looking around the planet at top speed and finds himself at a village. He finds Dende, the Namekian that directed them toward Kami's place, and grabs him to fly off. Once he arrives, Goku still has a tight grip on Kami's hand, praying that he survives. Dende heals him and his body is restored to its fully healthy state. He's just fine. The Namek saga has come to an end and Frieza is gone. This leaves the Earthlings with only one job left. They need to find their way back to Earth somehow. Their ship was destroyed upon arrival, so they have to resort to Frieza's ship. Across from this scene, Vegeta cannot believe the events that have transpired. Goku is the Super Saiyan, he knows for a fact. He's never seen a Saiyan with such flowing blonde hair. After that transformation, his scouter literally broke up upon attempting to read his power level. Before that, he read 30 million from both Frieza and him. 30 million. It reached past even 100 million from the transformation. Vegeta, sliding down the rock that he was previously hiding behind, feels like he's going to have some form of panic attack. How has this happened? How has he been so far outclassed? The Earthlings are on their way shortly after and Vegeta decides to just go rogue. What he's going to do now though is train, and train unlike he's ever done before. He needs to catch up to Goku and catch up to him fast. There's no time for breaks. Upon heading toward Earth, their ship ends up on Yardrat. Bulma made a mistake with the calibration since it looks totally alien to her. She just managed to manipulate the Namekian ship to make it easier for her to use, but she had to decipher the entire user interface for Frieza's ship by herself. Here, the fighters meet the Yardratians and decide to do some training. In the meditation part of their training, Kami initially performs the best with his meditation. It's something that he's been doing for many years now, so it's almost second nature for him. As for Goku though, his mind is quite cluttered at first, but after just a few hours his meditation quality is second to none. After just a few days, Goku begins using the most basic technique of instant transmission. As time passes, Goku then moves on to things like spirit control. Here he masters those techniques, and after the full year that they spend here, Kami manages to unlock the technique of cloning and gigantification using spirit control. As for Gohan, all he can use is instant transmission after this whole year of training. He has some of Goku's abilities, but the main ability of adaptation just isn't there really. He can heal and manipulate his body, but that's about the extent of his abilities. Upon arriving, Gohan does continue training at this time due to the influence from his father. When they arrive though, things are quite different. They meet what seems to be a Saiyan. He powers out of his Super Saiyan form, but they all caught a glimpse of it. "Goku, it's you," Trunks says with relief. They converse for a short time and Trunks wants to test Goku to see how strong he is. After that, he's going to reveal his identity. So that's what they do. Goku stands in his Yardrat attire with his arms crossed. Trunks then goes in to slash him, but he makes not even a single movement. You can see that he didn't even intend to slash him. Trunks then goes in for the full slash and Goku catches it with a finger as usual. After this, he explains what is going to happen in a few years' time. Goku is going to get the heart virus and die. Then the world will be razed to the ground and practically conquered by two omni-malevolent androids, hell-bent on causing destruction and suffering. Goku does not like the sound of what is to happen in 3 years, and none of the others do when they hear of this. Therefore, they begin their training and go at it hard. Kami continues to train with the Saiyans, being Goku and Gohan. During this time, Goku starts to think about what happened to Vegeta. He couldn't remember seeing him after their fight on Earth a year back and wonders what he's been up to in this time. Anyway, Vegeta doesn't make himself known for now, and the training continues. During this time, Goku is taught the ability of Kaioken from Kami. It's a nice technique to have, and since he doesn't immediately need to use it right now, he doesn't try and reach the higher multiplications of it. He's just happy to know that if he needs it in battle, that he can use it anytime. Goku ends up unlocking the ascended forms of Super Saiyan during this time, and even Super Saiyan 2 once he realizes how useless they are. Grades 2 and 3 are powerful, but the drop in speed he receives is akin to making himself 5 meters tall. After doing solitary training, his body provides him with real-time boosts to his power. As a resource to work with, he gets Bulma to get him a gravity chamber like he used on his way to Namek in canon. Working in things like 10,000 times gravity, he can inflict far more damage onto his body through the training, which further helps him grow. Using this extreme form of training, this is where the gap between him and everyone else starts to widen quite far. After these 3 years, the time has come. The crew all stand on a mountain looking over to the city of Sasebo, where the androids will be at. Goku stands at the forefront of this group that are all confident in themselves. Goku just leaps right in there, finding the androids in his trajectory. Readjusting his descent using flight, he arrives in front of the two androids, 19 and 20. Stop right there, Goku commands, putting his hand up. Jerome meets his command with a contemptuous laugh. Goku, who would have thought I'd find you here of all places, Jerome says. What do you mean, who are you? Goku asks. A member of the former Red Ribbon Army, remember? The group that you destroyed like a maniac. Well, you were strong but you weren't smart and I managed to escape in the nick of time. Now that you've given me this ample time to recuperate and strategize, you will pay for what you've done with your life. 19, destroy him, Jiro orders. Affirmative, 19 replies, with his high-pitched voice. 19 leaps at Goku, who sees him coming in his advance. Slipping past his initial strike, he then ducks under the second punch coming his way. Even in just his base form, dodging these attacks is tittle light work to Goku. One of 19's punches lands in Goku's cupped hand, then he pulls back his free hand. Clenching that into a fist, it then enlarges and he rockets it forward to hit 19. What does take him aback is that as he lands the hit, it just goes straight through the android's whole body. He's done, just like that, and Jiro has to make a run for it before it's too late. Goku follows right after him but loses sight of him in the rocky area he enters. As for the others that follow closely behind, they're also lost. This is when Goku starts feeling a little drowsy. You can feel this weird sense of serious fatigue, which is something he only really gets when he trains his body to the absolute maximum. After a few seconds though, his breathing calms and he feels fine. As the group have grouped together, Goku just talks to Trunks about the androids that he saw. They did not match his descriptions at all, and this leaves him confused, just how much has changed in this timeline due to his arrival. Seconds later, they can see a golden aura whiz below them. They have no clue who or what it is at first, but Goku then senses the key signature of Vegeta. He then flies up to face Goku directly. Long time no see, Saiyan, Vegeta shouts, already in his Super Saiyan form. Vegeta, Goku replies more coldly. He really does not need this to be happening right now. The group have some androids to deal with, and Vegeta will just waste his time with his shenanigans. Goku, are you fine to stay here? Trunks asks. Yeah, go on and find the androids, Goku replies. Trunks, along with the humans, Gohan and Kami descend to try and find Jiro, while Goku is left to face Vegeta. What made you come here after all this time? Goku asks, almost like a friend. Vegeta feels disgusted by that tone, that politeness. It's almost as if he's being patronizing toward him, like he sees no threat from him. I'll wipe that smug smirk off your face, Vegeta roars, pointing at him directly. The fight then begins, and Vegeta starts off as the aggressor. Kicking at Goku's chest, he leaps off him to launch his Big Bang attack. This even catches the attention of the fighters below, astounded by how much Vegeta has grown during this time. It's almost as if he heard about the androids too. As the smoke clears, Goku is revealed with not even the smallest bruise or scratch. His gaze is still on Vegeta, ready to see what he's going to do next. Vegeta's eye twitches slightly and he dives down to try and attack Goku again, who just teleports so that he appears behind him. Shooting his elbow back, also lengthening his arm in the process, Vegeta takes this strike straight to the back of his neck. The hit lands cleanly on this part of his neck and leaves Vegeta nearly knocked out. Along with that, he's totally shocked. This is how strong Goku is. Really? You just can't believe it. In just his base form too. He was sure that he saw Goku use the Super Saiyan form, yet here he hasn't needed to. The gap between them really is that large. Across from them, the androids have revealed themselves and are currently being stopped by Kami. After training with a Super Saiyan, his power has certainly grown. Along with his youthful body, he's gaining a lot more from the training. The others just let Kami have this fight and he crouches down to make a stance. Android 18 stands forward and will be the first to take him on. Kami rushes forward, throwing forward 2 palm slams only to receive a punch to his chest. The strike leaves him wobbly, but he leaps back, taking a deep breath and resets. Attempting to attack from a different angle, he just gets elbowed on the nose and now knows that his mere base won't do much for him. Therefore, he continues this battle with the use of Kaioken times 20. Racing back toward 18, he perplexes her with his great speed. Even 17 seems to get brought to life after being struck with complete boredom at the initial exchange of attacks. Kami lands 2 consecutive clean punches to her dome before landing a double drop kick to her abdomen that throws her back more than 10 meters. He elegantly backflips off this attack, so it isn't exactly a drop kick, and he lands back on his feet with grace. With Kaioken, he can't just be waiting around and so continues the assault. 18 manages to block the first punch to her arms, but Kami whips a hook around her arms to strike her ear. He then lands repeated punches and palm slams, throwing with the precision and elegance of a martial arts grandmaster. He resembles Ip Man with his grace and technique, along with the vicious power that comes with each hit. Landing an uppercut to the chin, one of his go-to finishes, 18 staggers back and wipes the blood oozing from her nose. Spitting out even more blood, 17 takes her position and looks at her with pity. "I can't believe that you got humiliated like this," Android 17 states. Standing ahead of her, he then flies forward and takes the battle himself. Kami grits his teeth once he realizes how much strain he's going to put on himself. "Already making me break down my new young body I was blessed to get again. Oh well, Kaioken times 25, Kami shouts. His power is returned to him and it feels even more immense than it once was. Ducking past the initial punch aimed at his face, he thrusts his fist into 17's face. The impactful strike ends up breaking some of the facial components and biological parts of it. It sends him falling back, then he takes this chance to pounce himself. Kami leaps forward and continues with a blazing combination of punches that he throws from various angles and with great accuracy. 17 though doesn't just fall back and try his best to take the attacks, but instead gets angrier and angrier once he sees that defeat might just be inevitable. Without being able to realize his goal of killing Goku, he is fueled by nothing but rage. Shouting at the top of his lungs, he draws from the infinite energy bank inside him and shows off his maximum strength. His hair lifts and flows from this explosion of power and he blasts off toward Kami with everything he has. Putting everything behind his punch, he destroys the ground that Kami lays on and sends him back a handful of meters. After looking at the destruction around him that he's caused, he's confident in himself. What he sees on the Namekian's arm though is just a minor bruise. He barely did a thing. However, Kami extends his arm to grab onto 17 then pull him with astounding force. As their heads collide, 17 is left knocked out. He's been defeated. Both androids have been taken down by the god of Earth, Kami himself. Someone that lands next to these androids is a fallen Vegeta who has now lost consciousness. He's been taken down as well. Wow, I thought they were going to be a lot scarier than they actually were, Krillin comments. So that will conclude the second part to what if Goku had SCP-682's adaptability. Please tell me something you liked about this video, or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.